The Church of Scientology in France found guilty of fraud. That is the verdict that was handed down in Paris against the church and 6 of its top leaders. But a recent change in law kept the court from making any moves to actually ban the church. And Jim Bitterman was in the courtroom when the decision came down. He is joining us now from Paris with the latest. Good to see you, Jim.
Hi, Catherine. Yes, in fact, that verdict was what some people said was a fairly harsh verdict, especially members of the Scientology who said, in fact, that they're going to continue on doing what they're doing. They were not banned from any kind of activities in France. The prosecutor had asked for a ban, but then it was realized that prior even to this case wrapping up, that in fact a rider had been attached to a bill in the National Assembly here which would have prevented banning the church. And so the prosecutor's request was not allowed by the judges. There was a 3-judge panel, but the judges did hand down guilty verdicts against all 6 and the church, the 6 leaders of the church and the church itself, the church organizations itself, and fined them well over $1 million in fines. They also sent or asked for sentences of up to 2 years for 4 of the 6 leaders of the church, but those are suspended sentences, so they won't actually have to serve them. But the court put it on record that they are watching the church, and one of the ways that they constructed this punishment was interesting. The judge was ordered that the church has to publish the results of this. The verdict has to be published in a number of national and international magazines, as the judge said, as a kind of a warning to anybody that might be interested in joining the church. Catherine?
What do you think this is actually going to do to the Church of Scientology there in France? Even if, as you said, they were found guilty of fraud, no one's serving jail time. They're going to pay the fine. So even though they're going to be closely watched, will it really affect the church at all?
Well, the organization itself, the spokesman says it's not going to affect them one way or another. They're just going to continue on doing what they're doing. They're also going to appeal this verdict, by the way, and that is going to happen fairly immediately. So they're basically going forward as if nothing happened today in the courtroom. On the other hand, this is something of a statement that the judge has put out by finding the leaders of the church guilty of this fraudulent behavior. Mm-hmm. One of the things that the judge said is interesting was she made a very strong distinction between the freedom of belief and the methods the church was using. In fact, she said that, there was no ban on anybody believing anything they want in France, that it was really the kind of methods that were being used for fundraising that got them into trouble and into her court.
And just to review that case, this woman that brought this case up, she actually paid like 20,000 euros for lessons and books. And Jim, what was this about the electrometer, this device that she also paid for that brought about these fraud charges?
Well, this is a device that Scientologists use to measure stress and other things, and the electrometer was one of the things that she purchased. There were actually 2 people involved in this that brought the complaints to begin with, mm-hmm. And they said they had been they spent a lot of money at the requested sort of incitement of the church to buy these various articles, which they did do. The church says, by the way, that it refunded this money, but the judge found today that they refunded it, but not in a timely fashion. So it was under the threat of a trial that they, in fact, gave the money back, according to the judges today.
And are all of those lessons, books, and electrometers still for sale there by the Church of Scientology in France?
Absolutely, yeah. That's. I don't think they've changed anything to do with that at all. And I think they've made it pretty clear that, especially with the case now on appeal, or it hasn't been filed yet, but it will be filed very shortly, that with the case on appeal, they're basically not going to ignore what happened in court this morning and until someone finds differently.